What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the franchise show of the Game Time Network. We are coming to you for Game Time Live. We've got a great episode for you guys today, and we've got the full crew in the building. We've got myself, we've got D-Cot, who's coming off knee surgery, and we've got Ramon Stallings in the building. Coach Ramon in the building for today's episode. We've got a lot to talk about. Joel Embiid rising from the dead, having himself a hell of a game, defeating the cup and the straw, or just the straw last night, in the Ice Cubes in Game 7. We're going to be previewing the 2 Game 7s that are taking place today. And yes, we do got to talk about those Lakers as well. So we've got a lot we're going to cover here in this episode. It's going to be an NBA-centric, heavy episode here today, but we're going to have a great time doing it. Fellas, how are we doing on this Sunday afternoon?
Man, recovering. Every day is a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better. A lot of great basketball over the last few days, man. Definitely can't wait to get involved in that and talking about the rise from the ashes of Mr. Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, for sure.
Ramon, Coach Ramon, good to have you in the building, man. How are you doing on this Sunday? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
There we go. There you go.
It's that mute button thing, man. It's just kind of crazy.
It gets you.
Look, man, ain't nobody talking to you, man. I'm happy you here, Kai, and you're not faking an injury. All right, you're not pulling the Kevin Durant.
No load management.
You know
no
load management, baby. I'm showing up every day.
Just
hey,
like
but before we get started,
go ahead.
Didn't I say something about like you really didn't want to see Philadelphia?
I will have to go and look. I'll
go check that out. I said 2 things. You didn't want to see Philly.
Yeah.
If they all there and healthy and playing. And I told y'all that when he first came back, I didn't think Tatum was right. Yeah. I talked about how he was landing. I was like, I didn't like it.
We talked about that the first game back after.
And that's why I said he was the second best player. I was trying to tell y'all wouldn't listen.
No, he's the best player. He's just injured.
How did he do last night?
Your boy showed he can't carry a team.
He's the best watcher. He was watching last night.
He watched and saw that, man. I gotta get healthy because the straw can't do it. He can't carry the load.
Hey, the Ice Cubes didn't do that well either. They got warm real quick. So we're gonna talk about Philly and Boston. Joel Embiid rising from the dead in a crucial Game 7. There's an iconic quote from Joel Embiid regarding the Boston Celtics. I am going to pull that up because we can finally put it to bed.
You're not playing the audio, are you? You're not doing
no audio. It's just an image. Just saying. We can finally put this quote to bed. I gotta admit, I'm not no Sixers fan, but I gotta admit, man, I am very happy for one Joel Embiid after last night. This quote right here, this is what he said a couple years ago regarding the Boston Celtics. This is not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. Well, Joel, you can happily put this quote to bed because it is no longer true. You finally get your win over Boston. And I want to start off with this right now. I want to get this out of the way to all the Boston Celtics fans out there. For anyone saying, oh, this would have been a different game if you guys didn't have if we had Tatum. No, it wouldn't have been, because you know why? And I know D-Cot's not going to hit on it because D-Cot was saying this long before I was saying it and long before Ramon was saying it. If you guys would have, stopped shooting the 3 ball, maybe this series would have been over in 5 games or in 6 games. But you guys have dropped the ball 3 games in a row. You choke a 3-1 lead to the Philadelphia 76ers. We said at the start of this series that this could be a potential 6 to 7 game series based on the Sixers' depth and the health of Joel Embiid. I said it on Game Time After Hours. If you're Nick Nurse, what can you get out of Joel Embiid? And I said, can you give me 2? Can you give me 2 good games in Philadelphia in games 3 and 4? Joel gave you 2 great games, 1 good game, and 1 almost bad game, but I'll call it decent. But when you're the Celtics, I don't feel bad for you. Jaylen Brown has carried this team all year for the most part in what was supposed to be a gap year, and he played good last night, just didn't get it done in the end. Philadelphia was able to get it. But this is the problem that Boston has had for the last 2 years. They keep shooting the three, and there's no ability to adjust by Coach Joe Mazzulla. It's hypothetically, for the sake of the argument, threes are better than two, so we're going to keep shooting the three ball. At some point, you just got to go out there and you just got to go get buckets. And Boston tried that late in the game, but it was too little too late. They've got to be able to adjust when the three ball isn't working.
I agree. We agree. Like I said, I've talked about it a lot. When he's after game 4, when they lost, game 5, they lost in Boston, and he says, that's what we do. It's great. That's what we do when you win, or you play well. And they just stuck his heels in the ground. If you remember last year, we were talking about his goal was to average 53s a game, and that's because of the analytics piece. And the analytics came back and bit him in the butt, man, because there are opportunities they had to try and get to the cup and get fouls. And even my guy Jalen said it best. When he kind of gave Embiid a backhanded compliment, which was Bush League, by the way. Embiid played great, flopping or no flopping. Hell, I saw Jaylen Brown flopping a little bit last night as well. So get to the basket, draw some fouls, and you wouldn't be so stuck on shooting threes like you did last night and during the series. So, he talked about it, that piece, but no, Philadelphia played the better ball when they needed to, and they flipped. Joel Embiid, he's taking a lot of heat from me on this show, talking about he's a 7'2", 280-pound guy, only shoots threes. After the first game, when he played miserable coming back, he was 0 for 5 from 3 in the second game. In the first half, didn't shoot another 3. They won that game. Yesterday, he was 0-1 from 3 in the first half, and he wound up being 1 for 4. He shot 3 threes in the second half, but he played in the paint. He played like a center. That does have me concerned, because the reason why they've had him out there at the threes, because they don't want the wear and tear on his body. He gave everything he had in this series. I'm just concerned about what he has left in the tank for the New York Knicks in that series. That does have me concerned. But give credit where credit is due, man. Philadelphia played ball. They outplayed Boston. They outshot them, and they out-efforted them. And, of course, that backcourt, that electric backcourt they've got, showed who they are again.
Yeah. Joel and Kat, they have some history. People found the tweets from 2019. They've got some history, so I know Joel's got some motivation heading into this series, so it'll be interesting to see. Ramon, obviously I want to get your take. But as we continue to kind of dive into this series, I've got some stats that I'll throw at us here in a couple seconds. But go ahead, Ramon.
I'm not going to ever question or knock somebody's theory or way they coach or way they scheme or whatever like that. I just think that when Philadelphia is full tilt, everyone's healthy and everyone's playing on one accord, they are hard to beat, period. Whether Boston was going to the basket, shooting threes, bouncing it off their ass, kicking it with their foot, I don't care. When you got those 4 cats playing healthy and playing good together, man, I've told y'all, we talked about it when we were talking about Detroit and Boston. I was like, man, I would lose to stay away from Philadelphia. Like, or whoever, I would maneuver, try to stay away from Philly, because if they are at their best, if Embiid's healthy, if playoff P is being playoff P, if Maxey is doing what he's doing, man, that is a tough 3, period. So I just think it's a hard matchup, man. I just think that people are lucky that half the time they're not healthy or they got some mental problems going on their team or whatever. But when they got it going, they got it going. And if they stay healthy and they stay on one accord, they're gonna be in the finals, man.
Hey, everything you said is very, very well possible, man. The key, like we talked about all year, is health, though, right?
Yep.
And that's not just for Philly. That's for everybody. I mean, look at Tatum last night, and look at Ant, and look at Gordon, and down the line, and on and on and on. Luka, guys being out. That's at this point of the year, maybe the healthiest team will win it. I mean, the way way it's going, so you just never know.
Yeah, I want to. So, look, we talked about Boston's 3-point shooting, and the numbers don't lie. Game 5, 25% from 3. Game 6, they shot 29, from three. Last night, I got to find the right day. Give me just a second. There we go. Game 7, you shot 26 from three. You were shooting under 30% for 3 games straight, and we're still with the mentality of, okay, it's going to get better. It's gonna, hypothetically, 3 is better than 2, so we're going to keep shooting it. I don't care when teams shoot the 3 ball because I get it. I truly, really, really, really do. But when you've got 3 games of shooting under 30% from 3, I'm going to pull up the stat here in a second. But I want to know the number of a team shooting under 30% in a 3, shooting under 30. Can't speak, but you get what I'm saying. Most of the time, you're going to lose, especially if the other team is getting buckets in the paint and they're only shooting a couple 3s and it's like 40% from 3. That's a big difference. And I get it. Boston lives and dies by this motto. Since they won the title, that's all they've done. Well, man, it's time to look in the mirror because last year you got outed by New York with the same problem. This year you got outed by Philadelphia with the same problem. So something's got to change. And I get what Ramon's saying. I'm not calling Mazzulla a bad coach. I'm not saying none of that. He's an NBA championship head coach. He is a great head coach.
Coach of the year, by the way. Coach of the year.
What I've seen from 3 games is his inability to adjust offensively. You haven't shot the ball well from 3 for 3 games in a row. And honestly, by that second game after game 6, there's not an inkling of, okay, maybe we need to pull away from the 3 ball just a little bit in game 7. And last year I was right there with Boston. I said, no, they're not going to change what they've done for 83 games. Same thing we talked about with the Pacers last year on their run. They're not going to change what they've been doing in game 82 when we get to game 86 or whatever. So I'm a little 50-50 on it, but I feel like when you look at the last 3 games, you got to make some type of change. I'm not saying you go completely away from it, but there's got to be a little bit of an adjustment because this team just shot under 30% 3 games in a row, and they just blew a 3-1 lead.
Well, for me, here's the thing. It's not about questioning his coaching. The problem is I'm questioning the analytics. The analytics doesn't bend. You know, you got 5 players out there on their court. You know damn well how you feeling on the court. The analytics won't tell you how you're feeling inside, internally. And that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know, it's so strict on going towards the analytics. That's what we've got to do. 3's more than 2. So we got to do that. And again, that's the organization. Boston Celtics and who else? The other, it'll come to mind when I'm not thinking about. Boston Celtics are one of the highest analytics teams in the NBA. And that's what they go. They go with analytics. They're so strong on analytics. And that's great when it's working. But you got to be able to pivot at some point. And I'm not saying and going from 53s to taking 10. No, I'm saying play. There's some point, like Eddie Johnson said on XM86, at some point, the players got to play the game. The analytics can't play the game. And I'm talking about from an NBA star player who's a borderline Hall of Famer, Eddie Johnson, XM86. And he spoke about it as well, too. At some point, the game's got to dictate what you do, not just what the numbers say. It says shoot 3, so I got to shoot a 3. So that's what I'm saying. Just I think Joe Mazzulla is a good coach.
Yeah,
he's going with his organization when they're saying we're going to go with analytics.
He's a great.
Let me ask you this question. This is why I've never challenged theory or something like that. You got teams. How many teams make the playoffs?
16.
16, right? In the end, you're going to have 15 teams losing, right? Yes. And I guarantee you're going to have a team that did not shoot a lot of 3s, that went to the basket, that went home. And we will not comment on that. We won't say, man, you should have shot 3s because your 2 points wasn't falling because you shot 28% from the field, 38% for the field. That if you talk about fundamental thought, that argument holds on both sides of the fence. But we'll never say it on the other side. We'll only say it on one side. You know? So I'm not going to talk about what you decide to do, but whatever you decide to do, you wasn't going to beat Philadelphia. They came to play. They came healthy, and they came to play. The rookie played his butt off. Paul, playoff P played well. Maxey did, he did, and no one thought Embiid was going to show up and show out like he did. You wasn't going to win.
Well, Ramon, do you agree that there could have been at least an adjustment? Not like a full-on change of style, because that's not what they're going to do, but do you think there could have been some type of adjustment? Because, I mean,
hindsight's 2020. I can sit back and be like, yeah, we should adjust this, we should adjust that. But what I'm saying is we got to hold that argument with everybody. We got to be like, damn, Houston should have shot more threes because you know what? They suck going to the basket.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about hindsight. I'm just talking about from a coaching perspective. So if you're coaching and something isn't working, I don't care if it's 3s, 2s, 4s, 7s. You have to be able to pivot in some way. But if you're not willing to pivot, that's your call. You're going to go home and you're in Cancun with everybody else.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
this is what I'm saying.
We're talking about pivoting. We never talk about the other pivot.
Hold on. I'm talking about Boston. So we can talk about other teams as well, but this is Boston.
Best believe I'm going to bring it up every time,
that's fine.
every game.
Fair enough. But this is Boston.
Somebody don't do something.
That's fine. And this is Boston shine. And Boston had an opportunity. They were up 3-1. They were up 13 points in 4 minutes ago in the third quarter. And they chose to continue to shoot. Jason Tatum, you all's guy, you all ice, who was 1 for 13. You're a superstar guy. Coming off of a devastating injury, continue to do the same thing. At some point, I said, listen, this isn't working. Because what's happening is what analytics has done is taking away the thought process. It's very similar to AI. It's taking away the thought process to what these guys are doing. You can look at your stats all you want. I'm gonna tell you, they didn't pivot like they should have, and that's what cost them the game. Not just shooting 3, they didn't pivot. That's what I'll stick with.
My counter argument is yes, Tatum kept shooting the 3 too, but in Game 6 they both shot bad from 3. Tatum,
but you notice he didn't say that. Isaiah, you know what they say because he's always one-sided.
Listen, I said Boston. Boston includes everybody.
You did say Tatum.
And I said Tatum because that's your guy.
That's your guy. About what he wants to talk about.
And I just brought up
you and Reggie. This ain't biased.
I just brought up the rebuttal. The rebuttal is they both shot bad in Game 6. They both did shoot well.
I chronicled that. If you remember, 5 for 16.
No, we both said it. We both mentioned it. We both mentioned it.
This isn't something I'm bringing up now. I've said that. Watch the show, Ramon. You'll see that. You said on the last show.
You're talking about now. I'm on the show right now.
So what I'm saying, I brought it up.
You said
I brought it up.
Jason Tatum. You didn't. I said your boy.
Right
talk
on
about
this
the
show.
Celtics or your boy.
Show.
Don't talk about everybody.
Because
your views be like this all
on
the
this
time.
show. So the bottom. At the end of the day, if they'd have woke up and decided to play basketball instead of saying, okay, let's just stick with what we're doing, that's what we got. So again, I'm not a Boston fan. I'm not a Philly fan. So again, I think we called it 6 or 7 games anyway.
Yeah, we did.
So, and Philly was the better team for the 7-game series. That's no ifs, ands, and buts. And the straw that stirred that drink was Joel Embiid playing like a center as opposed to a 3-point shooting 7 foot 280-pound guy.
Y'all called 6 or 7 games. I said Philly was gonna win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said people should get away from Philly. They should not. If they're healthy, you can stay away from them.
Yeah. And I mean, Embiid 30.
At some point, you gotta play them. You can't run all play them.
Yeah, to play them down at number 2 or number 3. But if you play them 1, you're going home first.
And that's what Boston did. Think about this: they round 2 last year, round 1 this year. That's a trend. What are we gonna do next year? Boston Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, and your analytics. Second round last year, first round this year.
Denver going home. The Lakers gonna go home. Minnesota gonna go home.
Yeah,
Houston went home.
There's
a trend everywhere. Every year, 15 people go home, and before that, the whole rest of the season, the Pacers. And
even when you're the Celtics, I think the Celtics, because look, I get it. They did. I mean, they overcame some expectations. I didn't expect them to be a 2nd seed. I didn't expect them to be this good to where Tatum came back. Let's call it like it is. This roster was built for a gap year. I give a lot of credit to Jaylen Brown for keeping this team afloat because that's what this team was built on. This team was still constructed as a gap year team, not to go win a championship team. So, and this is Brad Stevens we're talking about. Brad Stevens constructed the 2024 team where they went and won the title, regardless of the injuries that were throughout that playoff run. They won the title. I'm not gonna go over that. They will be back, and there will be a better roster around Tatum and Brown next year. There is other teams in the conference and in the NBA that they're ready to press the big red button on their desk and panic. And I think if Detroit loses tonight, they're going to be one of those teams. I think when you're Denver, you got to start maybe thinking about hitting the big red button on your desk as well, because looking at the money, Decon, that's going to be a great conversation I'm going to bring up here in a second. You look at Denver's money right now, they have got to make a change. You've got a Jokic extension coming up. You got Peyton Watson's contract expiring, and you need his 15 points per game. And Aaron Gordon couldn't stay healthy, and you've got him on the books for, I think, another 3 years. There's a lot of other teams in the conference that need to start thinking about hitting the panic button. And even the Houston Rockets have to think about this as well, because a report came out a couple days ago. They never resolved the whole KD burner account situation. KD never claimed the account was his. There's still drama in Houston. I don't think no one's going to want to trade for KD unless they're super desperate. We'll see what happens. We're going to talk about some other teams around the league, but I think, fellas, we should just go to Denver because that's where we
one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
So many people are talking about how the kid from Boston, non-adjustment, he ain't a great coach, he's this, he's that. The dude took a team to the first seed, second seed of the East
with a
7 games, 9 points down, and the second best player in game 7 on the floor for them was Derek White. That's big time accomplishments, man. That's huge accomplishment.
We all know Mazzulla's a great coach. And I get what Ramon's saying, and I get what Daryl's saying. Is there stuff I don't agree with particularly? Yeah. I think my only thing is when you shoot basically under 30% for 3 games in a row, I wish you would go away from the 3-point shot a little bit. I mean, there's times, and we've talked about this on the show plenty of times, there's times where I'm watching the playoffs or I'm watching the regular season and we're going up the floor and we're seeing miss 3 after miss 3 after miss 3 after miss 3. That's just it's a bad look on the product. But man, I said something last night when I was talking to my friend. If the season was a little shorter, which I know it never will be, I mean, the playoffs have been so great the last 3 years. I mean, the last 3 years could go in as somebody's greatest playoffs they've ever watched because I think they've been that great. Imagine if the season was a little shorter and you don't have that much of a regular season. It's a shorter sample size, so then the playoffs is a little more important and everything else. Just something I was thinking. I know it'll never happen. I know it'll never happen, but man, if they just cut the season into like 65 games or whatever.
Or how about this? Expand the roster so you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
If you want, because they're not going to take money from the teams, right? You're talking about 5 less home games. You're talking about 72 games. You're not going to take money away from that. Players aren't going to take less. So if you want to do anything, expand the roster. Yeah. They won't do that either because you talk about a cap piece here.
Yeah.
So I know they don't love the 82 games, but this is what we've got, and if it changes, it's going to have to go to a collective bargaining piece there, and I'd be really interested to see how that all works out.
And my question is, if we cut the season, man, these cats still gonna sit out. They're still gonna not play. You got 60. Yeah. You cut the 65 games. They ain't gonna play 20 of them, 25 of them. So
and these guys, it's funny how the Crypt Keeper says, I want teams to hate losing. How about you want players to want to play? How about that? You talking about this tanking thing and all this nuance on the tanking thing, and I got some breakdown for the tanking thing on a Cots Corner this week, probably if things go well. But with that said, you talk about these guys, they're playing hard. They're playing hard, dude. I posted in a couple of social groups where we got like 11 superstars with well under 65 games played. The people that are the people that are in pain for that are the people that go to these games looking for that star to play. So be aware of that as well too. Guys say, I'm gonna sit this game out. That like we talked about, father and 2 kids go to the game because they're a LeBron fan or whoever fan, and he doesn't play because he's resting. Yeah. Those are people who are suffering from a fan perspective. These players are still going out there doing their own thing.
And we
talked again. If they bring it to 72 games, they need to make a requirement. You must play 70. Then,
Ramon, was it right? Was Tatum sitting out the right call?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that first game, someone commented on that here, told me I was wrong. I said I'm concerned about how he's landing. He's favoring it when he lands. Like, that scares me. All right. And then we get to this point where he's like, I gotta back off of it a little bit. And you can see it in games progressing that he wasn't looking right. He wasn't healthy, not for this intensity. He's good for going through drills and playing mop-up minutes, but he wasn't ready for this intensity, probably physically, man. And if you ain't never been truly injured, you really don't know what that is. You can come back from injury and walk the streets like a normal person, play with your grandkids, but when you ask for them to go out there and perform like they performing, man, you got to be right. And I'm not talking about mentally. You got to be physically right. Then you got to be mentally right. But first, you got to be physically right, because if you're not physically right, you ain't never going to get mentally right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a shame, right? Because we saw a lot of people, they knock, to your point, Ramon, they knock KD. Oh, he's sad because he's got an ankle. I chronicle, KD is a 37-year-old man who, when he came back and played in the finals back in 18,
and blew it out
for Achilles. So people he's just weak. No, that doesn't mean he's weak. He's smart, and he's 37. And he realized, hey, man, I made a mistake back then. I'm not making that mistake again. And, I wanted to see Tatum play, yes, from a basketball perspective, but from a health perspective, no, I didn't want to see him play, because I said, I didn't want him coming back this year anyway, because I said, you still, to your point, Ramon, I said, you still got to be right physically and mentally. It's great. Oh, I'm going to play 15 games in the regular season and be okay. Yeah, it's more, no matter what we think and feel about the NBA and the flopping and all that stuff, it's much more intense and much more physical when you're talking about the playoff. Guys aren't caring. Guys are hitting you harder, and they're not helping you up, and things are happening quicker as well too. You don't have the quick turnaround. So no, I mean, I'm glad that he's now not in a situation where we're talking about an ACL or Achilles. But it's something to see. About my guy with Tyrese. I know that he going through the shingle situation, and again he's getting better. But I want him to take his time. And if he's not ready between the ears, come I think it's October 30th, if I remember right. Wait until you're ready.
Yeah.
Because you blow it out, now you're out 9 months, and now we're talking shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah. And I think Boston, whether it's Brad Stevens, Missoula, the trainers, at some point you just got to think, we got to be ready for next year. We're not doing this again. Because I tell you what, we took Oklahoma City's probably got the best management right now. I'd slot Boston right underneath them. I think Boston's going to do what they got to do this offseason to get that team ready to go. And I think, first things first, you got to go get a big man. You got to go find a center. Vooch, love Vooch, great center. Not going to get it done in this Eastern Conference. I don't know who the backup is. Not going to get it done in this Eastern Conference. They got to go find a tolerable big man. You've got Cat in this conference. You've got Embiid in this conference. You got Avisa Zubac in the conference. You've got centers in this conference that are arguably top 5 to top 10 in the conference right now. You've got to go find a center. I'm not saying he's got to be an all-star, but man, he's borderline got to be one.
Now remember though, with the way they play, he's got to be a center that shoots threes. So that's going to cut your line in half, right? I'm just saying, because you're doing with your analytics, that's going to take away some guys like a Mark Williams that you had in the fold. A guy like that, right? It's going to take that type of guy away. You lost Horford to Golden State last season, right? Horford's gone, right? So who is, you got to look at who are those threes. I see a guy, for me, Miles Turner. And we had talked about this before. I think a guy like Miles Turner would fit really well in the Boston dynamic.
Making the money.
He's a 7-footer that shoots threes, but he does play defense, right? So, and again, it wouldn't be a lot of pressure on him to be a lead guy. He'd be the 4th or 5th best guy on the team. That's probably where he needs to be.
Making the money, it would be hard to make that money, right? But I mean,
but here's the deal: you look, they're almost over the salary cap now, so they're gonna have to get creative anyway.
Yeah.
They got to get creative anyway. So that's what I'm saying. Look for a sign and trade with Vucevic. That may be your best option.
Ramon, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I would like to see. I would like for them to look and see what happens when everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
And how it looks before they start making different trades and stuff like that. And you don't have to get a center that only shoot threes. I mean, There's a team over on the West who shoots a lot of threes too, and they don't get a lot of flack about it. And they're not built to shoot all threes from every position either. So,
Who? I just
Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that's who you were talking about.
They shoot a lot of threes, a whole hell of a lot, but we'll never say nothing about them.
They don't shoot threes like Boston does.
Playoff right now, they shot like 6 less or something like that per attempt, or some crazy like that. They shoot a lot of threes, bro.
Well, I didn't. I never said they didn't. What I'm saying, they don't shoot them like Boston does. And that's fine. You can look that stat up. But what I'm saying, if you look at the game itself as a whole, anybody would tell you, if your coach is telling you, we want 53s, that's our goal.
3-point attempts, Boston 46, 3-point attempts, Oklahoma 39. And I think they play less. They play less games.
And they got more talent. They got more talent, though, too.
Oh, here we go with all the asterisks.
Well, no, that's just a fact. You don't tell me Oklahoma
City they play less games, didn't they?
They got more talent, I said.
Didn't they play less games?
Who played less games? The Thunder played less games in the first round.
In the first round, so
I said more talent. I'm not talking about the games in the playoffs.
No. I'm saying if they shot 39, if they shot like 39.3 average attempts or what it is, 39.3, whatever it is.
It's a lot of threes.
Everybody's shooting a lot of threes. No one's saying, "Oh, this Boston team is the only team shooting threes." Everybody's threes are up. That's across the league.
No, but what I'm saying, what Ramon is saying, is that you're right. Everyone's threes are up, but only one team gets crucified for it, and it's an epidemic in the league.
Well, I can't speak for everybody else. We were talking about Boston, so that's my commentary about Boston. If we want to talk about other teams, we'll have that commentary as well. But we're talking about Boston and the 3-1 lead that you pissed away because you didn't take the time to look at the game itself. We can have that conversation as well too. But yeah, you're up 3-1. You shouldn't lose. You shouldn't lose a series up 3-1.
I want to pivot over to Denver because I know I brought it up. I want to bring up their salary situation. We talk about teams that are, I don't want to talk about the Pistons prematurely because they haven't even played Game 7 yet. But I think that's another team that, you got to be worried about when it comes to their payroll and what they're going to do because we'll talk about Detroit here in a second. But I do want to bring up the Nuggets because I think there's a cause for concern in Denver heading in to the offseason right now. And we talked about it a little bit, but looking at Denver and looking at their pay, you've got guys that, there's a lot of decisions that are going to have to be made here in the next couple of years. Do you start taking calls on Jamal Murray after he had his statistically his best season? It's time to start seriously considering building a different team around Jokic. You extended Christian Braun till 2030, and he just had a horrid playoff series against Minnesota, right? Aaron Gordon couldn't stay healthy. You've got him on the books for another 2 years. Cam Johnson, everyone, we were high on Cam Johnson and getting rid of Michael Porter Jr. He didn't play all that great. Jonas Valanciunas doesn't even want to be there. We chronicled that last season in the offseason. There has to be a change in Denver. And you talk about Jokic. I'm not leaving Jokic out of this. He played horrible. He did not play well. He got locked up by Rudy Gobert, someone that he has been dominating for the last couple seasons. He got dominated. And not only that, conversations are being had. Look how bad Jokic played on defense. We know Jokic isn't that bad of a defensive player, but the effort alone was pathetic. Usually there is some effort from Jokic. There was no effort from Jokic on the defensive side of the ball. There's got to be a change in Denver. And I know this is a team right now. If you talk about needing to make a decision, this is a team up against Father Time now. There's got to be a decision made. You're coming up on the Jokic deal. I already talked about Peyton Watson, who's not here on screen, but I think he's got a player option or something like that, and he's got money. There has to be decisions made in Denver. And I don't know if you can do an Aaron Gordon trade, but I'm telling you right now, the best way right now to maybe free yourself up to have more decisions, maybe time to start taking calls on Jamal Murray because things are tight money-wise. I'm going to try to find a better screen that shows all the contracts. So give me just a second, but I'll let you guys talk.
Here's the challenge for Denver. The reason why Cam Johnson, it looks like a big failure because they were paying Michael Porter Jr. $40 million a year. They looked at that as a deal. We're saving $15 million bringing Cam Johnson in. That was the whole reason why they traded Michael Porter Jr. The people felt he wasn't earning his 40+ million, right? And Cam Johnson, they're very similar players, right? And if you look at what Michael Porter Jr. did in the last 2 playoffs runs that Denver had, very similar to what Cam Johnson did. It's just a cost perspective. Now you can say, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Go to Hoops Hype. That's your best bet. You shoulda, woulda, coulda. But again, I think Denver is past their window. Their window is closed because you got Murray, who's been injured multiple times in the last couple of years. Gordon obviously didn't finish out. Didn't play in Game 6 himself. And then, like you said, Jokic, he's up for a big deal, but he needs guys around him. He needs shooters around him, and he needs additional ball handlers. So I wouldn't want to be in Denver's shoes right now. Granted, I say that, and then you got Jokic, is arguably one of the best players in the league.
Daryl, look at that Christian Brown contract. Next year, it jumps up from $4 million to $21 million.
Yeah, that was because of the Michael Porter deal, right? That was because that's why they were able to do that, because they got rid of that $15 million additional in Michael Porter Jr. Now it's cost them because he's young, but he showed you what he wasn't able to do, and that's not playing the big game.
Minnesota dared him to shoot the ball. They did not care to cover him at the 3-point line, and he didn't make them pay.
Listen, they're a playoff team next year, and they could maybe win in the first round potentially. But as this team is constructed. But long-term, they got to figure something else out, man, because it's not working. Murray is getting more money each season, okay? Each year this year was his first All-Star game, right? After injury after the NBA title in 2023. I'm telling you, this is going to be tough, man. I wouldn't want to be Denver they don't have the young up and coming talent. They don't have a guy they're thinking this guy's a budding superstar on their roster.
They don't got a lot of draft capital either.
They don't have that guy. Yeah, it's tough to be Denver right now.
Ramon,
do you trade Joker?
No. The GM said it this season. He said, "I'm going to do everything but do that." So no.
I hear what he's saying.
Sound like Giannis to me.
At some point, does he sit back and rethink it? He's 31. He's 31. He's non-athletic. He's a defensive liability. He has a player option contract, a player option in 1 year.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, me and Ramon ain't agreed much on this damn call, but we're agreeing on this one. You damn right you trade Joker. I'm gonna tell you why. Yeah. Because he's your best commodity.
Yep.
And they say, never, look what Milwaukee did, trading Kareem. They were never the same. All that's well and good. But what you're going to do is have this guy finish his last contract without a sniff of the top. Because remember, you got this 7'5" Stretch Armstrong in San Antonio. Then you got OKC. And then to your point, Isaiah, you are going to get rid of, LeBron and going to bring in a max contract.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you don't get rid of Joker, he's just going to be getting frustrated. He's going to wind up trading him in a trade deadline for little or nothing. You better do maybe not this summer, but maybe next summer you got to find something to do.
I mean, they're stuck. They're stuck. You've got Murray for another 3 years, Gordon for another 3 years. You just gave Christian Brown. Oh my goodness. You got to make a move. And Peyton Watson was arguably your best guard, and he's got a qualifying offer. So
they're top heavy. Look how top heavy they are. Look how top heavy they are.
Yeah,
but look at the top. That's why I say Jokic.
And he can leave. Joker can leave after next year.
Yeah. If you get you can get a haul for Joker.
And I don't mean to put Laker bias in here, but you don't think
why not?
You don't think Luka and Jokic are on the phone? Your contract's up in 2 years. We can just
all these dang old players on the phone, man. What are you talking about?
You don't think Luka's on the worst I don't want listen. I don't personally want it, but you know how close those guys are.
That's
you don't think they're on the phone.
Listen,
you don't think
that's
a conversation
NBA.
You don't think that's a conversation they've had? Oh, your contract's up in 2 years. I'm in LA for 4 years. You just come here. We'll have the money.
Are you kidding?
I'm so serious. You don't think they've been on the phone?
But don't you realize all of them talk though? You're not.
I get it. I get it.
You're not. This isn't a groundbreaking story you're breaking here on.
I'm not trying to make it groundbreaking, but I'm just saying, like, when Jokic is gonna have. If I'm Jokic, I know he likes Denver, and I know he likes being in Denver, but. If he wants to win, which sometimes I don't know, I think he cares more about horses sometimes than basketball. But he may just want to sit in Denver and finish out his career. He may not. Jokic is he's not the most athletic guy. He probably doesn't want to do all that moving. He may just want to sit in Denver.
Yeah, because having to load that moving truck up and drive across to LA. You're right.
Or go over to the East Coast, wherever he would go. I don't think Jokic would want to do all that.
But if you're Denver, you got to ask him, right? Hey, do you want to stay? We have an opportunity. Is this something you want to do? And if he says, I'll stay and I'll sign, they will probably keep him.
I think Jokic is one of those guys where it's just like, I'll just stay. Like, he gives you no emotion. Well, he gave you emotion against Minnesota because he's frustrated. But other than that, he's so emotionless. I just feel like he's be like, I stay in Denver. I stay in Denver. I want money. I don't think he's got his ring. He loves his horses. He loves to do his horse racing. I'm sure he's watching the Kentucky Derby and all excited. He's probably glad he's out of the playoffs so he can watch the Derby. He loves his horses.
That may be a stretch, but I'll follow where you're going.
Listen, he won the championship, no emotion. He was crying when one of his horses won his first race. I think he'll just stay in Denver. I don't think he really cares to go somewhere and win. He got his ring.
Well, that's going to be an albatross across the Denver Nuggets neck then, if that's the case.
Ramon, what's your thoughts? Obviously, I'm joking a little bit, but
I don't know, man.
There's video evidence.
It's kind of hard to say what that dude wants because he doesn't show that type of emotion. You never know.
Yeah.
So but if I'm Denver, he on the table.
Yeah.
We gonna have a discussion.
Is Murray not on the table?
Who?
Murray? Do you even get?
What's he gonna get for it?
Well, I'm just saying. Do you sell high? Statistically, he just had his best year. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but people tend to always talk about, hey, this guy has his best year. They need to get rid of him. There's another person on the other end of this trade.
I get it.
And do they want him?
Yeah.
Do I want this person? What was his best year an anomaly? Do I have a person that he could fit with because he ain't a number one, and he ain't even the best number two.
I just feel like they say this about Murray every year, where it's like, well, when is he going to dip? Because he keeps getting hurt. Like I get it, but he's never. Every year, I feel like not us three, but the media. Every year after we get done with the playoffs. After Murray,
we the media, dog.
I get it, but I'm saying we haven't said this. The other people have said this, where they say, "Oh, when is Murray gonna dip? It's coming, it's coming." And every year he plays great or good. Like, so I don't, all this Murray talk of, oh, he's gonna, it's coming, he's gonna drop off, and then he doesn't drop off. I just, okay, fine. If you want to trade him, trade him. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jokic, but I mean, Murray, Gordon, you're not going to trade Christian Braun because nobody's taking that contract. Denver they are stuck, and it's quicksand. You're stuck.
Because they got, like, if someone takes them, right? If someone takes Murray, what do you try to get that will make your team better? You got a lot of holes, man.
Yeah. You
got a lot of them. You don't play defense at no position.
Yep. What did Jaden McDaniels say? They can't play defense. Just go at them.
Are you gonna get enough pieces or draft capital to bring in people to play defense at all the other positions with him? Yeah. But Joker, you can get a lot for.
Yeah. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm calling up the Brooklyn Nets. Calling up the Brooklyn Nets. Just, hey, give me 5 first, and then I'll see you later.
They'll mess around and do it too.
Huh? They probably would. They would do it. They took Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce at the age of 88. So, I mean, yeah, they probably do it. Let's transition.
You know what that was for, though? That was because the new owner wanted to make a splash.
Want to make a splash, yeah. Same thing Phoenix did, and look what that got them. Speaking of the team that traded with Phoenix over the offseason, last year. Houston Rockets. Let's go ahead and talk about the other team that was eliminated this week. There's got to be a decision made here too, I feel like, right? Which, I think heading into last year, you would think, oh, this team's set for the next 2 to 3 years. Look, I want to be honest. Everyone keeps talking about this over and over. There's a lot of conversation about Houston. Are they going to move Kevin Durant? Does Kevin Durant want to leave? Do you trade Sengun or do you trade Thompson? Because they just clearly don't work together, it feels like. There's a lot of movement, or there's a lot of conversation about this Rockets team, and looking at the contracts, I don't know how many moves you can particularly make. I do agree Durant, Sengun, or Thompson has to go. But who do you move, right? Sengun, that's probably the most value you're going to get out of the 3 guys here. I don't know who the hell wants to take Kevin Durant at 36, 37 years old.
Isaiah. I look at maybe it's me. Was it my internet?
I can check the stream. No, I can hear you.
Okay. I look at it a little bit differently. Fred VanVleet is coming up next season on a make or break contract, right? You saw what was happening this season without VanVleet in the lineup, right? He's going to ask for a bigger piece. He got that big deal to leave Toronto, so he's going to be in that over $30 million range as well. Yeah. So I would definitely look at VanVleet. But the other thing is Amen Thompson, right? The Thompson twins came in, and we thought, well, many thought, man, these guys, they're going to be the new look of the league. Both of them are so limited offensively. They're both athletically gifted beyond measure, but so limited offensively. And when I see them play, I don't see a whole lot of smart basketball either. I just see a lot. It just seems like there's AAU instincts out of them guys. I'm not talking about the Asar in Detroit and the man in Houston. I don't know, man. And he's got a manageable contract. Yeah. Now's the time to make a move if you're going to do something with him. I just, maybe he'll get with a team and he'll flourish, but he can't handle the ball very well either.
And one of the games that the Lakers lost, we lost because Amen Thompson finally hit his threes. And it's like, I don't remember which game it was, but we lost. And I'm like, well, we lost to Amen Thompson threes. Like we okay. I wasn't mad because I'm like, we're losing to a guy that usually doesn't hit his threes. Like, okay, he had a great night from 3. It is what it is. People are talking about trading Sengun. I don't like this. I don't like that at all. I don't like the idea of them. It's got to be KD or it's got to be Thompson. I mean, you just traded Jalen Green, right? That's one piece of your future that you move. Are Houston going to continue to pick off their young guys? And this isn't me hating on Kevin Durant either. Are we going to keep picking off our young guys for a 37-year-old? And trying to make it work? Because yes, you are stuck with KD, I get it, but at this point I would rather sit with this core than pick off our young guys to try to make this team competitive. You need to trade one of these guys, Sengun or Thompson, but man, if you trade Sengun, I get it, he has his inabilities and his flaws, but I think Thompson has way more flaws than Sengun does, and I get it, you got to fix Sengun on the defensive side and his effort in some scenarios, but if we're going to pick off these young guys to make this team work around Kevin Durant, I think that is not a good decision when he's 37 years old and he's got 2 years left on his deal, right? Or actually, really 1 year because the player option.
Next year is very manageable, man. $43 million be on today's cycle, right? The cap is going to go up $11 million next season, right? So they're going to have a little bit of playroom, but I think you got to figure out you got to pay Fred. You got to pay Fred. And what do you do then? So you say, okay, a man, are you going to, be the same guy? If so, we're going to probably, jettison you. He's probably the outside guy looking in. I don't know why would you trade Sengun. This dude's offensively gifted, man. He is very offensively gifted. And listen, let's be honest. In the NBA, you can count on one hand guys who really strong on defense all game, all year long. He can get better. He's a younger guy.
Yes.
But a lot of guys from an offensive perspective, they don't have the bag that he has. And they aren't going to have the bag that he has.
Yeah.
Just saying. I like him as a player. Yes, I wish he was a little tougher, but
I did too.
The NBA.
Ramon?
Right. Whatever they do, whoever they trade, whatever they cater to, they need a facilitator.
Yes. They need a point guard.
And until they get one, this whole conversation don't make no sense.
Well, right? When you get Van Vliet back,
that's what I said. Get Van. He's going to re-sign to a bigger deal. That's what I'm saying. So then, what do you do after that? That's going to be your shoe.
And I don't even know is he an elite or not even elite, top of the line facilitator? I think he's a really good basketball player. I think he is.
He can facilitate.
Facilitator. Because if you look at, let's say you decide to keep Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant's best years, best teams has been when he had a facilitator on the team.
Yes.
When he doesn't, he struggles.
Yes.
And then once he struggles, then he struggles mentally.
Yes.
He needs a facilitator.
And Van Vliet, I think Van Vliet would be fine with. Van Vliet is serviceable. Honestly, he's good.
That's your start, man. Because again, he's due. His contract's due. He's your lead guard. That's where you start with.
If I'm Houston, I'm staying put. I don't see the need to make a move other than maybe moving Thompson. But even then, just sit for a year. Let this play
Fred
out.
Said he don't want to be there? What if Fred don't want to be there?
Then you're screwed because you need a point guard. Like I said at the start of the year.
So, but those things come into play, though. You got to think about those. We look at this and hoops hypes. Oh, this is easy. Well, we'll do this, and this. But the guy got to say, you know what? I want to be here. Maybe through all that drama this year, I don't want to be in this mess.
Or maybe you do this. Maybe you get rid of him now. Like, hey, look.
Yeah. Well, now the opportunity, right? But you won't get much back because he's got 1 year left on his deal, right? Other than an expiring contract, which is very valuable. But you don't get a player back, and you still got that gaping hole in the backcourt. Because as we said, Reed Shepherd can't guard an empty chair. Yeah, he played better as the season went on at the end of the season, but more as a two guard than as the lead guard.
And he can't facilitate like we just talked about. He's not a facilitator.
As a two guard in the league guard, yeah.
Amen can't facilitate. You need Van Vliet, but I agree. If Van Vliet doesn't come back, what are you going to do? Because Ramon makes a great point. You need a facilitator around Kevin Durant. You need a point guard. I said this at the start of the year, right? And it wasn't looked upon as like this great thing. In Phoenix, I said you need a point guard. Now Phoenix had way more issues than Houston does, but you need a point guard. Like like I said at the start of this conversation. They need LeBron to teach somebody to be a game manager, but tell LeBron I only got $5 million for you. I really don't.
Hey, time out. Don't ever read that on the air again, man.
Okay. I just don't. If I'm Houston, everyone's talking about who needs to make a move. I think all these talks of moving KD, moving Sengun, moving Thompson, I think these are more overblown than Denver. I think Denver has a more serious problem than Houston because when you're Houston, you're 1 year away from really being able to get away from KD. I would just sit for a year. Now, if you want to trade Thompson, fine. But, man, I think trading Sengun would be a horrible decision, regardless of the burner account stuff, which needs to get resolved over the offseason. They need to figure that out. Because let's call it like it is, that messed up the chemistry, right? So that's got to get figured out. They're grown-ass men, have a conversation, sit down and figure it out. Or don't. But at that point, you got to make a move. But trading Sengun is not your decision. You built this team for 5 years. You were running a daycare center over there at the Toyota Center while you were trying to figure out who was going to be able to play and who wasn't. So if we're going to start picking off these young guys after you developed them for all these years, I don't think that's the right call. You trade one of these guys, Sengun or Thompson, and then you stop trading all your young guys. You got him. You can't do that. You can't blow up your team for a 37-year-old. You just can't. I just don't agree with that. I want to talk about Detroit as well. I know they're playing in a game 7, so I don't want to hit on this for too long, but I'm not going to use the screen. There we go. I do want to talk about the Pistons because that's another team we got to talk about, right? If they lose tonight, what do they think about doing? Because for them, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, but offensively, they're inefficient. I mean, imagine if they played the Sixers. That probably would have been a 5-game, 6-game series with how great offensively Philadelphia is. I'm still on the Rockets. My apologies. Hold on. Give me just a sec. But when you look at what do you do in your Detroit? Daryl, I'll let you go first because I know you said you don't think they should make a big move.
They had their chance. They blew it. I don't trust them to make a move. They had Jaden Ivey, a former 5th pick in the draft. And like I said, they got a bag of peanuts for him, a can of peanut butter, and some potato chips for him. So I wouldn't trust Detroit to make the move because they had an opportunity to get some. They could have got Asumu from Chicago in that trade because they gave him away to Minnesota. They could have got him. They could have got him. They didn't. So I don't know who's calling the shot for Detroit. I'm not trusting him. That's my 2 cents on that. I like Duncan Robinson as with his contract, but as your 7th or 8th player, not as your starting 2 player.
Yeah, you've got money. You're gonna have money. Look at all these expirings: Tobias Harris, Herter, Jalen Duren's on a.
Duren's gonna ask for $40 million. Duren's asking for $40 million.
Duren's gonna ask for $40 million. You've got some money you'll be able to play with, but where do you go with this money? Like, what do you do? Who do you want? I'd say right now. I mean, I want Duren in the purple and gold, but that's just me being an overreactor. I want Duren, but I don't think Duren's going to be a restricted.
Hey, the roster's only limited to a certain amount of players.
I get it,
dude. Every team.
I've got hopes and dreams. All right, but
like Christmas, man.
But here's the deal: Detroit's in a good position.
They're in a good position, but what do you do with it?
You saw that's my word.
What do you do with it? What do you do with it?
I wouldn't bring back Tobias Harris back.
I wouldn't bring him back either. Daryl, I don't know how high Ivy's value was, anyways. Though,
dude, you could have got Sumu though.
If you would have thrown in a 1st-round pick or something, yeah. It's just
you're trekking to be a good team. So a 1st-round pick for a team who's going to finish top 3 in their conference isn't much.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, right? I mean, you got
the ball. You could have got Kobe White,
dude, and they gave him away. And guess what? He's going to be available this summer too. He's not.
There you go. There you got to be honest.
I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't think Kobe White stays in Charlotte.
There you go. I mean, if you're Detroit, there you go, right there. I mean,
you know Kobe what? White, you now you mentioned
there
it.
There you go.
Kobe White. He's your 2nd ball handler for Cade, so that way he won't get jumped so much, right? Have to be so much ownership on him.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Kobe White, you can make some good money in Detroit. And honestly, look, I know Duncan Robinson can't be your starter, but if you start Duncan with Cade and then Kobe White comes off the bench, you get to the 4th quarter, then you play Kobe and Cade, that's not crazy. I mean, that's what the Hornets did in the 4th.
Here's why I'm comparing this to. I'm comparing this to Tyrese and Nembhard. The Pacers didn't jump until they brought a 2nd ball handler in for Tyrese. If you remember, they were jumping Tyrese at the beginning of the game. Every game, Nembhard got to the starting lineup. That changed a little bit, and it propelled Nembhard because he's a good defensive player as well, too. But the thing is, Cade needs someone else to take that ball handling pressure off of it. Look, watch what Orlando does today. They're going to do everything they can to get the ball out of hand, like they did in game 6. But the difference was he had other guys that gave him a little bit more help, like Tobias Harris. He surprised me. I don't think he's got 2 games in him like that, though.
Yeah,
this is my thought.
Ramon, jump in. What you think?
I for once, I agree with both you guys, with the exception of you.
Be agreeing with me,
with the exception of you, Isaiah. Want everybody who can be a possible free agent to sign with the Lakers.
He ain't alone. Every Laker fan feels like they got a roster of 30 players.
All I'm talking about is a center because I don't want Ayton back. I don't know if I want.
It is crazy. Everybody is cheaper.
Ayton's cheaper.
Ayton is cheaper.
Hey, we should get him. Like you like a little kid on the corner playing. Ooh, that's my car. Ooh, that's my car.
He know nothing about that game, man.
You know about that game? You too young for that?
Man, when I saw Red Camaro driving by, I'd be like, that's the car I want. I've always Red Camaro. That's my dream car, or a Corvette. Those are my 2. But you got any more to add on the Detroit convo? I know you said you agreed, but
yeah, I mean Detroit.
I mean, if they win today, I mean, there won't be a move.
What's
if they
crazy?
lose, I think there's a move.
What's crazy about Detroit is like you can look at them and they got a lot of holes that they need to fill, but they good still.
Yep. Yeah.
Say, hey, they good. It's crazy. Like
they're
you
the
can pick a lot of things that they need to fix, but they good.
They're the number 1 seed. Yeah,
they good. So that's a tricky one right there because, like, how much change do you want?
Yeah,
they don't have a choice really because if you look, you know what I'm saying. The thing is, I think Tobias Harris has run his course. He's a good player, but I don't think Tobias Harris is a $20 million a year player anymore.
No,
because he's very limited. He's a mid-range guy, and unfortunately for him, that game's kind of going away with the Jerry curls, right?
He's not a playoff riser either,
right? Herter, Duncan Robinson is a good price. He is a keeper at 16 million, 15. He's a keeper. Yeah. Your big deal is what does Duren get? Because I think in the Orlando series he's kind of showed a little bit of deficiency on defense, right? So maybe that 40 turns into 30, but they still got a lot more room because remember the cap is still going to go up, and your best player is signed for 3 more years.
Do you consider a Duren sign and trade, or they wouldn't have to pay him this year, right?
Well, no, they wouldn't. Well, they probably will because of the fact where he's making this year. But I don't know. Duren's he's a tough guy without fake tough. He's legitimately tough, right? And I think Cade needs a bodyguard. I think all point guards like Cade, Tyrese, those guys, they need a bodyguard, man. And I think Duren's that guy is that protector for Cade Cunningham. I just don't know at $40 million is worth that price, right?
Yeah,
that's what I personally think. But everything else, I like Isaiah Stewart just because he does crazy stuff. But he's a good enough basketball player, man. He just doesn't get out of his own way sometimes. He's gotta calm down. $15 million for the next 3 years is cheap, brother. That is a good price for Isaiah Stewart. I don't think he's going to.
Out of the 3 teams we've talked about today, I think I think Denver's the one that you got to really look in the mirror and start thinking, all right, what are we gonna do?
They got some problems in Denver, man.
Yeah, they definitely
do. Ramon, they got to get really creative.
I want to hold on. Let me get the sound effect on here, man. Hey, Ramon, I just want to say, man, it feels so good to be right, man. It feels so good to be right about the one James.
Here we go.
Yeah, y'all knew it was coming. Y'all knew it was coming. 4th quarter, 12 minutes, 0 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, overtime, 4 points, 2 of 4, 0 of 1 from 3. I said this. I said it to y'all. I said we're going to get to game 6. This is where Cavs fans got to be concerned because really Donovan Mitchell didn't play well until we got to the 4th quarter. So, hey, all I want to say is me and Ramon was right about this. We were right the whole way heading into this series. We said it time and time again. I said if Harden's going to play well in the first round, he usually does. But, boy, if we get to game 6, game 7, Booty Cheeks got to get a little clinched because, man, we ain't going to start playing like James Harden when it's time to get in the clutch. He did his little tween step back, airballed it. Tried to do his little dive inside floater, back rim. Couldn't get
question.
Fall in the floor.
Question. Who was dying on the hill for Harden? Nobody on this show is down on the hill for Harden.
We got a certain Cavs fan on the.
Hey, this show here. You talking about Eli?
Hold on, no.
Ain't nobody down on damn hill.
I got multiple people. Cam at work keeps telling me, Harden's gonna show up. No.
Listen, I'm sure Cam at work is a good person. Cam was probably a solid human being, but clearly Cam doesn't get it if he's down on the hill for Harden. Okay, Cam, if you're watching, Cam, nothing but love. D-Cop loves you. But I'm just telling you, if you're down on the hill for Harden,
well, man,
you clearly haven't been watching the show because for the last 2 years.
I got a bunch of money. If I got a bunch of money, and I need to make more money quickly, and it is in May, and James Harden is in the playoff, I'm pushing all the money to the center of the table, and I'm betting on the other team, all of it. They could be playing a 9U number 2 team girls basketball, and I'm going with them over James Harden because he don't win playoff games, man.
Hey, you know what?
I would go with James. I would go with
finals
13 midgets on a 12-foot rim against James Harden.
Look, Spurs, Cavs. Why everybody thinks the Cavs are coming out of the East now because they got beat. This is why I've been on a tangent.
They're saying that, but I'm gonna stick with Detroit until it's not Detroit. I'm sticking with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
If anybody thinks Cleveland's coming out of the East with James Harden on their roster,
I got that.
Those people are as high as me.
Oh, so I think you should just name them. You're talking Reggie.
I'm talking Reggie. I'm talking to Eli. I'm talking to Cam at my job. I'm talking to the city. I'm talking to the city of Cleveland, Ohio. I'm telling you right now. I love that. Guarantee like it's Oregon versus Indiana, where I was completely wrong, but I'm gonna say it right here. If you think the Cleveland Cavaliers are coming out of the Eastern Conference, man, oh man, then at that point, I think the Lakers are coming out of the West. We can all thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. Because I've been saying, I said it when they traded for him. Why are we still dying into James Harden thinking he's going to get you over the hump? Philly tried it. Clippers tried it. And now we got Cleveland trying it. And look where it got them. Now they may lose today in Game 7.
You know what, Isaiah? I got to tell you this. I got to just say this. I'm so proud of you, right? And I'm going to tell you why I'm proud of you. Because you've learned over the last year, receipts matter. We can play tag all day long, but when you're ready to grab them receipts like you are, and hitting those people between the eyes, hey, we can say we can prognosticate all we want. Receipts don't lie, and have them on deck like that. Listen, I give you credit, but be aware. There's a Game 7 left.
Oh, I know.
They're going to be in Cleveland.
Oh, I'm watching.
Again, I don't have a dog in the fight either way, right?
I've got a dog in the fight. Look,
but
I got a dog in the fight.
I'm going to tell you this because I don't have a betting line on it. I want James Harden to play great today. I want him to go off because I want to see I want to see people going at it. I want to see conflict. I want to see I told you so's. I want to see arguments. I want to, again, it's Cleveland, right? It's the mistake by the lake, right? But I want to see James Harden put up 30, 10, and 8 and see how that we might go viral after that.
If he puts up 30, 10, and 8, that's fine.
This is selfishness.
What is he going to do in the fourth when it's time to end the game? That's what I want to know.
That's what I'm saying. I want him to have a full game.
Yeah.
I want him to go lit in the fourth quarter. Hey, listen, if he does, I'll prop my leg up. I'll keep my machine going the rest of the day. My rejuvenation machine, and I may have another hour in me if Harden does something supernatural.
Man, I'll be watching the stats real closely because, boy,
where's Eli when we need him?
Eli,
where you at?
As much as D-Cot celebrated you for keeping receipts, I'm upset and angry at you.
Why?
Because my grandfather and my grandmother used to say, when you argue with fools, from a distance, we can't tell who is who. If you argue with Reggie Sykes,
I'm not arguing with Reggie. I was just pulling up the receipt because him and Eli both had the Cavs going to the finals, and I'm like, what are we talking about?
And Reggie Sykes' predictions, boy, hey, once again, if Reggie say go left, I'm going right. If he say go up, I'm going down. If he say square, I'm picking triangle and circle. All the money in the middle.
I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Look, man, having the receipts on deck is great. We get enamored. Harden came in his first couple of weeks. He played well.
Oh my goodness. They blew out Detroit.
But give you credit, Isaiah. Actually, Isaiah, you don't have to talk about this anymore. I'm gonna speak for you. You sat here on day one and said, that's all great. You said, what time of the season are we in? What time of the season are we in? I think we had about 5 calls. You let off. I'm sorry. Remind me, where are we at in the season again? Remind me again. Remind me again. So I'm going to give you credit, man. You've been consistent. You've been on it. And I'm sure that if it doesn't go the way that you think, you'll sit on this show and you'll own it.
And I'll own it because you know why?
To be quite honest,
why?
I'm kind of betting on your end right now because
he still
it don't look good.
He still has to play in the second round, and there's going to be a Game 6. There's going to be a Game 7. So he may not do it. It's just like the Dallas Cowboys. It may not happen now, but it will happen.
Stop bringing up the Cowboys, man.
Because what can go wrong will go wrong. It's just a matter of time before we get that James Harden choke fest. Game 6 was just a preview. Now, Game 7 against Toronto, he may get it done because it's only the first round. Not much pressure, right? Game 7 of round 1.
Oh, you can't do that now.
As we get deeper
Isaiah,
into the
you
ground,
can't do that now.
it's going to get a lot worse.
You double and triple down on his 6 in Game 6 and Game 7. If he has a big Game 7, you got to get on here and you got to own that, man.
I'll be like, great game, great time for the next round because you may have 3 more Game 7s ahead of you. What Nick Nurse said it last night. Nick Nurse said that's Game 7 of a potential 28. That's Game 7 of a potential 28. Great, you did it for 1 round. You finally look good in the Game 7 one time in your career. Congratulations. Can you do it again? Because it's only the first round and it's against a Raptors team that you were up on in this series at one point.
So it's clear to everybody. Harden is a thumbs down for you. KD is a thumbs down for you.
It's this. I'll give KD
who's the other guy? Who's other than Jared Vanderbilt? Who's the other guy that you're thumbs down on?
Man, Gabe Vincent.
Yeah,
because Buddy Hield should have been playing, and they wouldn't have gotten blown out by 7.
What did I tell you?
Buddy Hield should have been playing, and they wouldn't have gotten so beaten down badly by the by the Knicks.
So, hey, speaking of that. I know we've hit some stuff for quite a while, but we can't let go without talking about, yes, we got the games today. We got obviously Cleveland and Toronto. Of course, we got
Orlando and Detroit.
OKC.
Orlando and Detroit.
Orlando, the God League. We got to talk about what's coming up in the next series, though, right?
Yeah.
So I know you want to hit on that, but I didn't want to get too far down the Harden rabbit hole without get out of it.
I didn't want to spend too much time on it either, but man, it felt so good to be right. It felt so good to be right, man. Because I've had people at work, I've had just people hyping up the Cavs, and I'm just like, man, y'all don't learn. Same thing about KD and not having the point guard. I'm like, man, come on, we know this. Let's come on. Second round's gonna be interesting, right? I want to talk about Minnesota and the Spurs first because I'm not doubting the Timberwolves quite yet. Rudy Gobert has worked with Wemby for years before he even got into the league. I don't think Ant will be back in time to save the day, but could this series be a little more than what we're all expecting? Because I could see this being a 6-game series. Obviously Minnesota, they don't got their weapons, but they still got Randall. They still got McDaniels. They got some guys that could give you 20 points a night. And then Gobert, we'll see how he plays against Wemby. I think that's going to be crucial. But the Spurs got other weapons. What are your guys' feelings heading into this series? These playoffs have been so crazy. I'm not going to count Minnesota out. I'm going to say Spurs in 6 right now.
I'm saying Spurs in 5. I think Rudy Gobert is so limited on offense. It's going to really show up in this series, in this case here, because the fact he doesn't have Ant, he doesn't have is Dusomo playing up game 1? I'm not sure if he is or not. He may be out game 1 potentially. That's something to think about as well. And also too, obviously
he's questionable.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough, right? So I say Spurs in 5. I don't think it's gonna be a lot of theater, to be quite honest.
Ramon?
I'm going to limb and say Minnesota in 6.
Okay.
I think Rudy's going to have enough presence to slow
Wemby down. That's a good take.
You're not going to stop him. You have enough presence to slow him down.
Yeah. You said 6?
I'm going Minnesota in 6.
You said said Minnesota in 6.
Yeah.
I thought you said
Minnesota in 6.
Hey, we had that bet about 12 years ago, Bama, Ohio State. Well, let's replicate that bet.
Didn't I win that one?
Yeah, you did. And I had to pay your wings. Remember, I met you in the parking lot. And I was pissed because I had to get some wings, and Kelly was working that night. That's another story.
I won that bet. I won that. We go ahead.
Let's
live on the podcast.
I can believe you said Minnesota. I'll take it. I need some wins in my belt, man. I've been taking some losses. So.
I got Minnesota.
I got San Antonio.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you go. It's been sealed.
Saw your comment too.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here, fellas.
All right, Ramon. Good talking to you.
Right on, man. When we come back, we're gonna argue again this week about something. We'll find something to argue about.
So, all right, y'all, man.
See you.
All right, brother.
Yep.
All right, Daryl. Well, as we begin to wrap this up, yeah, I mean, I got the Spurs winning in 6. I don't think it'll be necessarily. It should be interesting, you know. I mean, like I said, I'm not doubting Minnesota. Obviously, you know, I need to get me an Ant jersey to put back there, even though he's not playing. But yeah, you know, I'm hoping the Spurs can get it done. And look, I want to nip this in the bud right now. I hope the Lakers win, but I'm not sitting here. I'm wishing upon a star because I know our fate. I'm just glad we got out of the first round. I just want to make that known right now. If they even win a game, I will overreact because you know what? I will overreact.
You overreacting?
Yeah, I may overreact. I know that comes as a shock. I know I'm more monotone, more chill and laid back. But yeah, I'll definitely.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you this, right? The way I've seen people were sending me these clips of OKC flopping and grab. I didn't even realize somebody sent me a clip where Lou Dort was kept grabbing TJ McConnell's arm while he's dribbling the ball, and the referee's right in front of him and not calling it, right? Yeah. People sending me stuff, right? So I've grown this dislike more so than even last year when they were playing the Pacers because of the way they get away with certain things, right? So, and also too, the other thing is I've got a betting interest on a future bet. Listen, here's the deal for me. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I would love to see San Antonio and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I'm just saying that's my hope. No, I'm not a Laker fan, not a Bron fan. I'm not a Wemby fan. You can go down the line. I don't like none of them. However, this is personal. And I would like to see that because you know why? Because I think that's going to be more for the TV, right? I think if you got Wemby and Bron in the finals, you got the old guard leaving, passing over his crown to the new king, right, of the NBA. And I understand Shea, I understand Jokic, all that, but Wemby's a different cat, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that'd be great to see that matchup. No, I don't think the Lakers will beat them and whatever. I don't know, but I would like to see that. That'd be interesting TV, and it'd probably be it'd be much higher ratings than an OKC San Antonio series would be. And I know somebody's gonna say, no, it won't. I will show you proof it will be. Well, maybe not. But I think LeBron's in it and the Lakers in it. We'll see.
I think San Antonio, Oklahoma City would be good basketball. I mean, I think Lakers and Spurs would be too, but yeah.
I'm pulling for your Lakers, man. Just so you know, I'm pulling for your Lakers.
I'm pulling for them too. I'm gonna say Thunder in 6. I'm gonna give my Lakers both of their games at home. But yeah, I
ain't taking that one at all.
How superhuman is LeBron at 41? Let's see.
But let me ask you this though, and I know we troll a little bit on it, not much. But let me ask you though.
I've got no faith just because, man, look at the games between the Lakers and the Thunder in the regular season. They weren't even close. The average difference was.
What did you say about Harden? Where are we at regular season? This is playoff Bron. This is 4-6 Bron. That's not good. This is champion Bron.
10
right?
finals appearance Bron.
Yeah,
there you go. Makes it there you go.
Yeah, but let me ask you this though, right? So, as the Lakers, kind of transform, my question is this: does Luka Doncic play at all? That's going to be my big question.
He's nowhere near ready. Nowhere near ready. I wish he was ready, but he's nowhere near ready.
Well, if he again, I know I said it last series. I thought his injury was kind of masked, but some other stuff. If he doesn't play, I think it's going to be really, really, really difficult.
It's going to be horrible. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be box score watching a couple of these. I don't want to, unless they're close, I really may not try to watch those for the sake of my mental.
Fair enough. And I guess are we saving the best for last?
The best for last. New York, Philly. I said it on my Instagram. Hey, man, I'm riding with the Sixers the rest of the Give me the Sixers in 6 games. I'm riding with Philadelphia. I'm hopping on the bandwagon. Spurs, Magic, Lakers, and Sixers. Those are my 4 teams I'm riding with the rest of the playoffs. Oh, and the Raptors, of course. But yeah.
You said the Magic. You got the Magic over Detroit.
I still love Paulo. I was I was hard on him, but I gotta be, I took what I didn't apply to Herbert and I'm applying it now to Paulo. I'm being a little more critical on him.
I would say this, right? I'm still a Paulo guy as well, too, right?
I know you want to see Reggie in that Alabama Tide hat, so you're pushing for Detroit.
First of all, it's Alabama Crimson Tide.
I know.
Secondly, it doesn't matter. Detroit's a good team, win or lose. Again, yeah. I think they'll beat Orlando today, absolutely, without a doubt. I think they showed their medal in the last game. I think they'll beat Orlando, right? I think whoever they play, either Cleveland or Toronto, is going to be a backyard fight, an alley fight with those 2 tough teams. And also, the other thing is people love to knock Detroit, but I'm telling you this about Detroit: when have you seen a team in the last 5 years get credit for not flopping? Detroit's the only team in the NBA gets credit for not. They don't flop. They play straight up basketball, and that's what I like to see, right? I don't like the Pistons themselves as a team, but I like the way they play from that perspective. You don't see guys going to the ground unless they're really hit and going to the ground. I think, again, like I said, they'll beat Orlando today, and I think the Cleveland or either Toronto will be a dogfight. And I think Detroit is built for dogfights. I'm still saying Detroit to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm going to say this: I hate the Knicks. I hate the Knicks more than I hate any team in the NBA, any player in the NBA. I don't like Philadelphia. I definitely can't stand Paul George, so I don't have a dog in the fight either. I wish both teams could lose, but if I'm betting with my mind and not my heart, based off of what Philly did coming back 3-1, I'd be foolish to not take Philly in a 7-game series in this. I think Philly in 7, but it depends. Does Embiid have a back-to-back in him? That's going to be a challenge.
Does he have it in the tank? I know.
That's going to be a challenge.
Ooh.
But yeah, I like that. I like that backcourt. I've been on him. You remember, I was on Maxey last year, Maxey. And with Edgecombe coming in there and being a big part of things, and then Paul George having those 25 games of rest for his supposed medicine he was taking. Yeah, we'll see. But again, I like Philly. I think it's gonna be a 7-game series. Yeah. I love Cat. Everybody knows I'll take him and all his sashness on my team any day. I'll take him, right? He's healthy. He's gonna play a lot of games, right? Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a 7-game series. I think it's gonna be a knuckle grinder for sure.
Corey, look, I think the Knicks got a really good shot. I think the Knicks got a great shot. I just seeing what Embiid did last night and the way he was able to muscle back. Yeah. Everyone's saying he had the here damn MVP or whatever. And like we said, we talk about these players not playing and everything else. He wanted to be there. It says something, I've never been like an Embiid hater or nothing. I've just been like, hey, he can't stay healthy. But it's not like it's like me. It wasn't a criticism. It just is what it is. And yeah, Maxey, Edgecombe, hell, even Kelly Oubre's playing really well for them. Andre Drummond
was crazy. Kelly Oubre was a raw. He's probably been with 5 teams.
Yeah,
he's found his home. That dude, he's playing hard. I don't like him shooting from the corner threes, man. He needs to, he needs to be that 12 to 18 footer, man. Let those other guys shoot.
Drummond or Oubre?
Oubre.
Oh, okay. Man, Drummond's not going to. Drummond's not going to.
I'm okay with Drummond shooting threes. I'm okay with that. I'm not tripping on that. But Oubre is there to lock guys up, right? Yeah. And he played Brown and Tatum very well when they were in, right? So I like Oubre on the floor defensively. But Knicks, they've got, he's not going to be guarding Brunson. And Brunson's going to have the ball in his hand a lot. He's not guarding Cat. So maybe a slight edge to Philly, maybe a slight edge, to Philly in 7. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's flipped the other way.
What's the other second round matchup? Predict who you got. I'm going Toronto or Orlando. That's my matchup.
Well, see, first I think you're wrong. It's going to be Cleveland and Detroit. So that's why you threw me off. I think it'll be Cleveland and Detroit, and I'm going to stick with it. I think Detroit's going to be in the Eastern Conference Final.
Okay, and then so you got Detroit, Cleveland second round. All right, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I do agree. I think if Cleveland gets out of the first round and they get to the second round and it is Detroit, I think Cleveland wins the second round. I will say that. But
Well, let me ask you this though, right? So we talked about Cleveland and Harden and that whole factor, right? And we chronicled on the show that Toronto couldn't beat good teams, right? Will today rear its ugly head against Toronto beating good teams?
Yeah, that'll be a good thing. I mean, that'll be a great point. I mean, Scotty Barnes played terrific on Friday night. Looking at today, looking at the Raptors' health, Ingram is doubtful and Quickly is out. So it's going to have to be another Scotty Barnes performance. And a big shout out to Jamal Shed as well, Daryl. He played really well on Friday night.
Yeah.
Had some big impact plays. Didn't score a lot, but he had some big plays. Obviously, RJ Barrett with the Halliburton-esque play. Another guy you got to give credit to, their first-round pick this year, Colin Murray-Boyles, just making some tough, grindy plays.
He got Grady Dick on the bench. That's why Grady Dick hasn't been playing.
Yeah,
because of him, right? Remember Grady Dick coming from Kansas, he was the B's B. I don't know Corey's on. Corey, Rock Talk Jayhawk. Hey, Grady Dick hadn't seen the floor.
Yeah,
because of him. But the other thing I'll tell you this: with Toronto not having Ingram, that really puts a lot of burden on
Barnes.
On Barnes, that puts a lot of burden on Barnes, man. That's gonna be tough, man.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, for them to see what they do. But again, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna be watching both because I think one comes at 3:30, one's at 7. So I'll be propped up watching both with my bell ringing my bell.
So
bring me something to drink.
I may be able to watch the full Detroit and Orlando game, but then I'm actually going to see the Michael movie at 5:15. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Well, don't tell me. I just found it come out on Fire Stick in a week, so just bear with me.
Yeah, okay, all good. Yeah, I'm going to see it today. I'm excited.
But speaking of Michael, I'm going to just say that because obviously Indiana's own. Everybody's got an opinion about his father and his family and what his brothers are doing. You don't know that family. You don't know them. And everybody's got their sides. I let them ride, but there's a lot. This movie is generating a lot of buzz about the Jackson family. And, they say, there's no bad press. Well, I think they can be, but this is generating a lot of income for that family. Not that they needed it, but it's generating a lot of money for that family. A lot of the stuff that's been going around with that team.
And I think family. I knew about Joe Jackson and his parenting, right? I knew about it for everybody knows it. I mean, I think I think this movie's good for people that maybe are younger and I can't believe I'm saying this, don't know Michael Jackson that well. But yeah, I mean, it's been divisive for sure. I'll talk to you about some other parts of that movie.
Yeah.
When we get off, I'm not going to bring it up on here, but it'll be interesting. Yeah. I think a good video we can do here in the next couple weeks is some off-season previews. Because I saw, people are putting out their hypothetical off-season moves for NBA teams, and there was one for the Pelicans, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, man, I don't know, I don't know what you do when you're New Orleans, because I'm like, I guess they want to build around Derek Queen and Zion, but I'm like, you're building around two power forwards who. Yeah, and think about it. New Orleans was trying to win this year, and it just didn't go well. So
there's a lot of teams. There's a lot,
and they don't have their pick.
Well, that's the other thing, which tells me there may be some opportunity for trade, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of upheaval this summer in June and July, because that's when the after a week after the draft. I think in July it's going to be a whole lot of movement. I think there's going to be some guys moving that we didn't think they were going to move. I think some guys are going to stay that we thought they were going to definitely be on the move. And as a Pacer perspective, I've been watching a lot of my guy Alex Gordon. I've been getting with Alex Gordon. Man, he is on top of everything.
You got to get him on the show.
And I'm gonna tell you, a friend of the show, Alex Gordon, by the way. I'm gonna tell you, man.
Golden.
I said Gordon. Why I say Gordon?
Because I said it when we first had him on the show.
Sorry, Alex Gordon. But what I would say is, it would not surprise me if the Pacers do something if they get the 1 through 4 or not. I'm starting to be a believer in Alex, man. He's turning me, man. He's turning me.
Next Sunday, Game Time Live will be airing on a special time. We will not be live at 12 or 1 o'clock. We will be live at 2:30. Right? Hold on. When's the NBA?
2:30. You're right. 2:30 Eastern. 2:30 Eastern.
2:30 Eastern. I'm gonna make sure I got the time right for the draft. The draft lottery's at 3, so we will be going live at 2:30 next Sunday, and we'll be live reacting to the NBA draft lottery next Sunday at 2:30. The lottery's at 3 o'clock. We'll preview it, and I will before the lottery goes live, I will once again rerun. I will break it all down for you guys, my Utah theory one more time, 30 minutes before the lottery. So
it won't be the full 30 minutes. It'll be about 5 minutes.
It'll be about 5 minutes, yeah, where I break down all the AJ DeBonsa, Utah Jazz, hickory dickory trickery.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be called our lottery, our live lottery, something. Be very similar to what we did.
Game Time Live lottery special.
It'd be very similar to what we did for the CFP, right?
Yeah, I'll have some special graphics made for that day. I'll obviously make some for the NBA Finals because we're planning to go live after every game of the Finals as well. And we'll even be able to mix in some off-season previews with that as well. So it'll be good. Decon, anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
No, man. Listen, I appreciate people sending me notes about my recovery. It's a hell of a lot tougher than it looks when you're watching people on TV having surgery and saying they should be back in 6 to 8 weeks and all that stuff like that. There's been some really restless nights for good old Decot, and that's why we pushed this call out to 1. I need to give me some sleep, so I appreciate everybody tuning in an hour later. But I'll say this. There's going to be a time this week or next week, but I promise I am going to do a Cots Corner. And I am going to talk about the salary cap. I'm going to talk about the player empowerment in the NBA, and I'm going to talk about the state of the NBA with regard to players and talking to each other, being disrespectful, and also to ownership when it comes to the Portland owner with being so frugal as he is out there in the Pacific Northwest. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. It may want to be a 1 hour Cots Corner, all this stuff I'm building. But again, it's good stuff, and it's not to take a dig on any organization. It's just going to give it's kind of a state of the NBA and basketball. And I think it's important to share that because there's a lot of things you showed today on our graphic with regard to the hoops hype and the salary cap, right, and what players are making. That makes a lot of determination in where players go and where players don't go. So we can't just say, Isaiah to this team because it's got to work financially. And we're going to try to hit on a little bit of that stuff as well, too.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. Sorry for I know we were really consistent posting segments from this show as videos, but with the playoffs, stuff gets out of date so quick. Once we're kind of out of the playoffs and everything and we have less games, we'll be getting more segments out there for you guys to watch throughout the week. Should be a good week this week. Bias with a Little Truth will be on Tuesday. We got to talk with Reggie about that. I think it'll be me and Reggie doing the show. But that is going to do it, folks. Make sure to check out all the other content on the channel. But that is going to do it for us. We will see you guys next Sunday at a special start time of 2:30. That's going to do it for this episode of Game Time Live. We'll see you next Sunday.